and thanks for joining this Microsoft Dynamics 365 customer service demo. My name is Tom Hart, and I am a pre-sales solution engineer here at Boyer & Associates. This is an exciting demo because customer service is one of the areas where artificial intelligence is most well positioned to make a large impact, as we'll see in today's demo. But briefly, think about the amount of information that customer service agents are expected to be able to offer to their cases and clients. And think about the ability of AI to summarize and gather information from a wide variety of sources, and then help surface that right place, right time. So in today's demo, we're going to talk about what is Microsoft Dynamics 365 customer service, why choose D365 customer service, and then see a demo to bring that kind of into action, a day in the life of a customer service rep using this solution, and some key integrations. So jumping right into what is D365 customer service, essentially it is an all-in-one solution that brings together account management, case management, knowledge management, and a number of other features to create this industry-leading customer service solution. As I mentioned at the beginning, it is AI-powered and increasingly so. And it might not strike everyone as sort of immediately obvious that customer service is one of these areas where AI can have a large impact, but there's some pretty compelling information available from Microsoft on how they have been transforming their own customer service operations and applying those learnings to this solution as well. And I'll link to some of that at the end of the demo here. So why would you choose D365 customer service? There are a lot of reasons, but briefly, the compounding benefits of the platform are a major factor. So when we look at this diagram on the left here, we see Power Apps at the top, and it's good to be aware that D365 customer service is built on top of Power Apps. Now, what that means is Microsoft has been working for a long time to make Power Apps this low to no code platform. And by having D365 built on top of Power Apps, it means that your team can configure, customize, extend your use of D365 customer service in a very similar way to how you would configure, update, extend your use of any other Power App. That could be sales, that could be project operations, could be a custom inventory management app that you built for your warehouse team. So by working with Power Apps and your team being familiar with it, there's that compounding effect from that familiarity, as well as the compounding benefit of working with Power Apps in relation to these other Power Platform solutions. So today we're going to see how Power BI and Power Apps work very naturally together. And you could also bring in Power Automate to extend and create like alerts or other automation workflows coming straight out of customer service, or using Power Pages for a portal where customers could enter in cases, track the progress of their cases. And all of these different solutions are connected by this low-code focus of the Power Platform. Bringing it back to D365 customer service, the major benefits of this solution are that it enables faster time to resolution and increased first call resolutions. You'll see in the demo today some of how that is possible, and there is, like I mentioned before, some additional helpful material from Microsoft that substantiates these benefits and adds a little more color to the high-level overview I'm providing here. So now that we've looked at what is D365 customer service and why you would choose it, let's jump into the demo. We're going to focus on a day in the life of a customer service rep through these specific features. So starting with embedded analytics and how a customer service rep can start their day looking at dashboards to get an overall view of their team's work as well as their individual workflow. Then we're going to see how the customer service rep can go into a specific case and benefit from their AI Copilot that can assist them with case summarization, knowledge-based chat, and even suggesting a reply back to the case based on that chat. Then getting further into case management and some of the related knowledge management and account management features, which will enable our demo customer service rep today to go through this day in the life workflow. So jumping into our demo environment, we're starting off here in the Customer Service Hub view and looking specifically at an embedded dashboard. Now, the reason I'm starting with an embedded dashboard is to help tie together that idea that I started with of using Power Apps, D365 Customer Service, and Power BI together. This is a fully interactive Power BI report, I suppose. I should use accurate language here. So we have full interactivity, meaning when I select different parts of this call center overview data visual, the rest of the visuals react. We can have multiple tabs easily embedded in this dashboard as well. And again, kind of full interactivity as we go through. There are some pretty interesting AI features in here as well. So this Q&A box and some of the key influencers analysis. That is a bit outside of the scope of this demo, but if you're interested in how to use AI in the analytics of your customer service operations, definitely worth learning more about this area. So this is an example, again, of embedding Power BI to extend the existing analytics functionality of customer service. Now let's actually go in and look at customer service operations dashboard. And these are some of the out-of-the-box dashboards that are included with customer service. So this can help us get an at-a-glance view of cases by SLA status, the mix of active cases and their priority levels, who's working on these different cases, and more visuals of this nature. Like I mentioned, this comes out of the box, and this can be configured and updated based on your team's particular workflow. Now, when we want to transition from maybe a manager view or an overall view of the customer service performance, we can jump into customer service representative specific view. So we'll go back to home, and you'll see that I switched over into a customer service workspace here. The difference, just briefly, is that Customer Service Hub provides more of that overview functionality, and Customer Service Workspace really provides that fast functionality that CSRs, customer service reps, are requiring these days. So the ability to use a lot of shortcuts or hotkeys, the ability to open multiple tabs within the same view, as we'll see as I progress today. So this workspace is really tailored and refined for that speed to resolution. Now, our customer service agent is looking at their own dashboard here, and we see that it is much more tailored to active cases that are available to work on, and then open activities associated with those cases. This, again, is helping kind of narrow down the scope of focus so that we don't have agents overwhelmed with a lot of information that's irrelevant to their kind of current task. So let's go ahead and jump into an example case here. So I'm progressing from looking at, I've kind of started my day, I've seen which cases I'm currently working on, and I'm going to go ahead and continue with this in progress case here. Zooming out just for a quick moment to keep us oriented to our demo roadmap here. We have We've looked at embedded analytics and how that can help enable informed decision making, both at a team and individual level. And now we're getting into a specific case to see how AI Copilot can help us communicate more efficiently. So here we are back in, let's jump to the actual case record. It looks like I clicked on the account by accident there. So now we're looking at an individual case record. And if you've worked inside of Dynamics 365 or any CRM before, this will probably look pretty similar. We've got a number of fields here: case title, who's the customer, you're selecting that from a drop down. So we're always associating the case with existing customers and not creating duplicate or messy data in the system. We can select a subject for the case, and this is a good feature to highlight real quick, where if I clear out my current subject, then we can see the subject tree. So you can see I've got a default subject, kind of a catch-all wildcard, as well as this defective product higher level item with sub-items or sub-subjects underneath it. And for this particular case, I've selected defective appliance. Now, that subject tree is helpful for routing and making sure that it's easy when cases are being entered or updated, that they're being routed appropriately. So we could have some conditional logic in the background here that when the defective appliances subject is selected, that it goes to a particular team, or it sends a particular alert, or any other kind of logic you can imagine to happen in the background. Now, jumping to some of the AI functionality here, we'll come back to other case management features. Let's check out this case summary box along the top of our page. So this is going to ask Copilot essentially to summarize the case. And we get a little flag showing us that this is AI generated. And what Copilot has done is look through a number of fields within the case, including this description field and the timeline, and given me a one-paragraph summary. Now, this is a very helpful feature as we're context switching rapidly between different cases and accounts to get oriented to the kind of overview of what's going on here. So we can see the support ticket is regarding a defective Easy Cook convention oven, and that the customer is seeking compensation for the repair costs of the damaged kitchen, a full refund for the defective oven, and assurance of a thorough investigation into the model's safety. It looks like some of that information is being pulled from our description over here, as well as some is being pulled from this note in the timeline. And helpful that I don't need to search around, I can get oriented with the summary and then dig into the relevant areas to find additional information. So case summary is one example of Copilot in action on a case. Another area is more of this open-ended knowledge chat. I can open Copilot from the right sidebar here and ask how to respond to defective product case. And what Copilot is doing in the background here is going into our knowledge base and searching for knowledge articles that are relevant to my question. You can see I get a nice kind of bulleted response. To respond to a defective product case, I can follow the procedure below. This looks like a good outline to me, but I'm going to go ahead and verify the source. So I click on damaged or defective products, and what Copilot is doing is citing its source here so that I can be confident in the information that it's providing me. Looks like I previously opened this page. There we go. So now I've got the knowledge article that Copilot has specifically drawn this answer from. And since this looks good to me, I'm going to go ahead and give Copilot a thumbs up. And this helps with that ongoing reinforcement learning. So Copilot can continue to learn over time. And as we have more agents interacting with it, it will provide increasingly helpful responses to these types of questions. But in the instance of this example, let's say that this is not exactly the information that I need to resolve this case. It's good for me to know, but because in the case summary, we saw that the customer is requesting some additional investigation, things that go beyond the scope of this knowledge article, I'm going to go ahead and keep working in my right sidebar here and actually open up a Teams chat to talk with my manager and get some of their perspective on the situation. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a connected chat with Dave. How should we respond to the investigation request? And what we're seeing here is a good example of how to give Dave this question with all of the necessary context that he needs to help me respond to this customer and reach that resolution time faster. So we can see the chat popped open for me in the bottom bar of my working window here. I can minimize it or close it back to the right sidebar. And wherever Dave is using Teams, he's going to see this alert pop open. So if he's on the go, he'll get it on his phone. If he's at his desk, he'll get it in his desktop application. And this is another great way that we can communicate more efficiently, even beyond just the AI focus features here. So we just got a quick overview of where AI Copilot shows up within customer service to help us communicate more efficiently, and how we can chat in the context of what we're learning from Copilot. Actually, just to close that loop a little bit more clearly, if I wanted to copy this summary, I could also include that directly in the chat here. Otherwise, Dave can click into the case and see that summarization as well. So let's continue through our demo and talk about case management and how we can save time on data entry with some of these features as well. So in addition to what we've already seen on the case, there are a number of other features, such as in the timeline here, I could add a note to future self, pick up on task XYZ. So quick ways to kind of add reminders. So if you're not coming back to this for a week, you can quickly get oriented in addition to this case summary up top. We can also add a more specific activity. So rather than just a note, I could add a task here, assign it to myself, or maybe I want to kind of create a more clear follow-up from Dave, investigation decision, and I'll go ahead and save that so that together Dave and I are managing this case and staying clear on who's doing what. Another important feature for division of labor and staying clear on who's working on what on the case is routing. So if we go up to the command bar here, go ahead and close chat just to simplify my screen a little bit. I can save and route this case. So I click on save and route, and it's going to ask if I want to route it based on the active rule set. I'll go ahead and select that. I believe that, oh, looks like I do have a routing rule set in place there. So what's happening in the background is customer service is going into a routing rule set, and based on the subject, based on priority, kind of whatever fields we've configured, it is routing the case based on the information available on the case record. So that is one more automated way to route a case. Another option is we can go up and add the case to a specific queue. So in addition to getting Dave's input, let's say that I want to escalate this to engineering because there's potentially a serious product defect here. that the engineering team should be looking into. So I go ahead and add the case to the queue, and this has the benefit of making sure, one, that engineering has visibility into it, and two, making it clear that this is now kind of their priority. And we can also use queues to assign this case to a team based on their skill set. So engineers having a specialized skill set necessary to help resolve this case. As we saw, we can also escalate. So that's one of the benefits of using queues. And we can also use queues to hand off cases if someone is out of the office. So we might have a overflow or like a support queue that can help make sure that cases are moving forward and we have coverage even if people are out of the office. Other things that we can do in case management are there's additional fields that can be configured in the background on additional tabs here. And this can all be as complex or as simple as is relevant for your team. So configuring service level agreements, which have some automated tracking to them as well, and can be important for tracking that first response time KPI. We can also associate knowledge articles. So the defective product knowledge article that we saw previously in chat, we can also open that from our knowledge search here. And it's going to actually recognize that the damaged or defective product knowledge article is relevant to this case based on keywords. So we can create an association to link these together. And now for my future reference, or maybe Dave's future reference, we can see that associated knowledge article here as well. If there were similar cases that our team had encountered in the past, or child cases, we can also track that information here and make sure that we're working as efficiently and effectively as possible. So with all of these different case management features, one of the high-level benefits is that we're saving time on data entry because we're focused on information that we need to capture, that we want to capture, and doing that as efficiently as possible. Now let's dive a little bit further into knowledge management and how in this example scenario, we're improving quality and consistency with some of these knowledge management features. So as we saw, we associated a knowledge article with this case, but let's quickly kind of zoom out and look at the actual knowledge base itself. So you can see I went back into the customer service hub here and selected knowledge articles from my left sidebar menu. Now we're seeing a list of the current published knowledge articles within our system, that damaged or defective products article that we've seen a few times now, as well as these other articles. If we click from the list view into the detail view, we see some specific knowledge article information. I could write an expanded description to help both Copilot as well as human team members to find this article more quickly. And we can see some of those keywords that Copilot was queuing off of when I was chatting in the right sidebar. The knowledge article itself has a WYSIWYG, or what you see is what you get, authoring experience. So we can format and make it easier to read through this knowledge article. We can also embed photos, videos, links to external document repositories so that we're really enhancing these knowledge articles with all the information that our agents need to resolve cases quickly. We can also use a business process flow along the top of a knowledge article. So logically separating the phases of authoring into author, review, publish, or if your team has distinct phases or stages to your process, then you could add those and configure these as well. We can also add steps underneath the stages. So if there needs to be an assigned primary author or confirmed that it was marked for review, prior to advancing to the next stage, we can select all of that here. Beyond the individual knowledge article, we also have some knowledge search features. So we saw in the right sidebar where search can happen. We can also flag favorites. So if there are frequently articles that I'm coming back to, I can favorite them here, make them easier to find. And like we saw in action, providing feedback is both helpful for Copilot's learning, but also we can track analytics on how many positive ratings does a knowledge article have, how often is it being utilized, and that can be a great way to create a feedback loop so that our knowledge base is not just useful in the one instance, but it gets better over time, and we really have those compounding benefits from our knowledge management. So we got a quick view there of how knowledge management can help improve quality and consistency of our customer service response. And now let's go ahead and wrap up today's demo by looking at account management and how we can use these features to improve relationships. So going back inside of our customer service workspace, we are looking again at the case record. And I can click on the customer or the account here and jump straight to their record. One of the convenient ways of moving through the system is learning kind of which of these are links that will move to a case record, to a contact record, and that can be a very quick way to navigate. Now, on the account record, we're seeing a similar interface to what we saw on the case record with account information, timeline, and some related cases. But in this instance, these are related cases to this account. We can see some of the timeline entries that we saw on the defective product case have bubbled up to the account record as well. And this can be a very helpful way to keep teams in sync, especially if an account has multiple cases related to it that are in flight at the same time. We could also create a new case right here from the account record. So if we were on site or on the phone or emailing with this account, convenient way to do that here. And like we saw in the case record, there is a details tab where we can have some additional fields if we wanted to say update the contact preferences based on recent information from the account, then we could update that here and make sure that we're keeping the experience for this account as positive as possible by tracking preferences and the relevant information for them. As in other parts of Dynamics 365, there are many other associations that can be made. So it's always kind of a balance between making everything available and keeping the interface as focused as possible for your team. So where relevant, people can drop down into the related tabs here and maybe look at if a related lead is relevant to a case that's being worked on. We could pull that information up here as well. One more thing to highlight with the account is, let's say because of this defective product, we know that there's going to be some ongoing communication needs that are above just the case, but really need to be to this account, maybe to keep that relationship as positive as possible. We can connect a sequence here, and a sequence can be a predefined series of events and actions that will help remind us to continue that communication with the account. So I can go ahead and select the particular sequence that I want to associate to this account, connect it, and then as I save and refresh, we will see that sequence load up on the account. And this is, again, a very helpful way to make sure that we're following through on communication. And for sensitive or complex situations, following through in a kind of standardized or approved way for our company. So with that, a quick overview of the account management features within D365 customer service and how we can use them to improve relationships. So wrapping up, what we saw today was customer service at a high level and a day in the life workflow, starting from embedded analytics, progressing into a case to see a Copilot in action, how it can help us communicate more efficiently. We continued and worked through a case and saw how we can save time on data entry with some of the case management features, how we can improve quality and consistency of our responses with the knowledge management features, and lastly, how we can zoom out to the account management level and improve the overall relationship while staying focused on case particulars as well. All of these benefits come together and return to that initial benefit we talked about of compounding benefits. So using not only D365 customer service, but paying attention to how the broader Power Platform and the even broader Microsoft ecosystem have this greater than the sum of their parts dynamic, where it's not just the individual features and benefits within Dynamics 365 customer service we should be aware of, but we should also pay attention to Power BI, Power Automate, and the surrounding ecosystem, and how they really do operate better together. As you can tell, this is a topic that I am curious about and excited about, so please reach out to our team. If you have questions, you can connect with me here on LinkedIn, and you can start a trial of customer service at this link and see a more kind of snazzy or sizzle reel of a Copilot specific customer service demo. One last highlight for a common question that we get at this part of the demo is pricing. So we'll put this link in the video description, but as of the date of this publish, we were focused mainly on customer service enterprise features, which for commercial customers are $95 per user per month. And if you scroll down the page here, you get a nice features table that compares these two primary license types. So again, thank you for joining, and best of luck on your D365 customer service journey.